Hi, my name is Kate Hernandez, and I'm going to be talking about the single replacement reactions. And in this lab, we started off with our copper sulfate and our NaCl, which was salt, and we mixed those two together. But first we had to measure it out because I know that was on our worksheet, and the paper said that this was 100 milliliters, but I measured it out twice, which was 50 with the graduated cylinder, and I placed it into my 250 beaker. And there was still some left over, and I know it said to just measure it out and add that too with it, and I did, and it was 10 more milliliters. So once I added it all together, it was 110 milliliters. And then once I did that, I placed my copper sulfate and my salt in here, and then I used my balance beam, and I got aluminum, which was also given to us in our kit, and I weighed out 1.4 through 1.6 of aluminum because I know that's what was needed throughout the procedure. So once I did that, I added it to our copper sulfate with our salt, and I started to see that it started to smoke and it started to get really hot from the bottom, and so it said to stir. So I stirred every 2 or 3 minutes because I had it to wait to 10 minutes. So that's what I did, was stir. And then after I did that, I waited 5 minutes to let it cool down. I got my filter paper and I added it towards the little beaker that's right here. Once I did that, I started pouring in the solution into the filtered paper, and as you can still see, it's still getting filtered, but there's still some in there. And so once I was done filtering it, I added 20 more milliliters of water, and I stirred it, and then I did it once more. And so once I did that, I finally got done, and then this was like the final product of it, which was like a powdery brown. And then I finally added it all together, and this what came through. So what I'm gonna do is just put it in the oven and let it dry, and once I let it dry, I'm gonna put it in a weigh boat, and I'm gonna give its final weight. And once I do that, then the lab will be finally finished. So I just wanted to give that explanation towards it, which was just to see the aluminum and the copper sulfate and the NaCl react with one another. So the balanced equations really had to be perfect for this solution so it could come out like this. So that was basically it. And I know I also took pictures, so I'm gonna add those to my lab report and everything. And that was it. I also used, obviously, gloves, my apron, and I just took off my goggles, but I did have my goggles on as well. And so this was the final product, and yeah, so we finally saw the balance equations for it. And I also have my papers, which I filled out as well. And I know we were supposed to figure out the moles of it and the product base of starting with aluminum and stuff like that. And so the yield solution of the Cu in grams, and then the percent yields of Cu, and which I did, and I got 57.8% of grams. So that was my final. And then I already also answered the pre-lab questions and the lab questions, so those are all going to be submitted as well. But this was a pretty fun experiment. I never thought it was gonna like smoke and see smoke and stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm just gonna put this in the oven and then weigh it and then get my final of what I needed. So yeah, thank you.